My name is Jonathan Woodham, and I'm a professor of the history of design at the University of Brighton. My overriding research interests at the present time are concerned with national design policies globally, but also with what I have termed lost or hidden histories. These histories have been important in those countries where they've been enacted, but have failed to register in the wider studies of the history of design. This exhibition exemplifies two key aspects of my research. One relates to national design policy, and in this case, Czech design policy and the way it's unfolded since the Velvet Revolution and to the present day. And the other relates to hidden histories, because although the Czech Republic, or Czechoslovakia, has been written about quite widely in the years leading up until the Second World War, since the Velvet Revolution, many aspects of Czech design have remained uncovered. One of the key aspects of lost or hidden histories relates to language, and much of the work I have done relates to countries where there are not very many speakers worldwide. And so when there is not this currency of language globally, histories have tended to become obscured and fallen from vision. The University of Brighton Design Archives are extremely important for research in design history. And although we have a large number of collections, 18 in all, I think it's true to say that possibly more than 80% of these have not been truly covered, investigated, researched into. And so there are enormous possibilities for any researcher in the history of design, nationally or internationally, to discover and promote new material. These archives are incredibly important for preserving and understanding the histories of design around the world that may be disappearing, particularly in countries where there has been rapid progress. They're also incredibly important for understanding our own heritage of design and society in the UK, particularly through the Design Council archives, which open up a whole range of things which have not really been discussed in relation to design, but they've been more discussed in relation to politics. This exhibition is concerned with British design and is held at the V&A and is the V&A's contribution to the Cultural Olympiad of this year. The major thrust of the exhibition takes one through from the welfare state in the late 1940s right the way through to contemporary times and preoccupations with the big society. My contribution really looks at the way in which the post-war dream, which was almost a political consensus, works its way through a wide range of spheres of life. One of the key dimensions of this is also the way in which designers have helped to make the world a better place to be, particularly in the post-war decades, with the design of the welfare state. The building of a society which was to provide a better environment for everybody. But this was a dream which really had little attraction as the years passed, with fuller emphasis on consumption and individualism. And this was really swept away in the pop era of the 1960s and the more subversive 1970s. The exhibition shows the way in which British designers have reacted to social, political, economic and cultural change. One major project with which I'm going to be involved with in the future is a complete rewrite of my book, 20th Century Design, which was published by Oxford University Press in 1997. One of the key issues about design history is that it's largely been predicated around particular countries, whether European, North American, to some extent Japanese and Korean, but has largely left out many other countries in the world. If one took, for example, the Spanish-speaking world, which is about 500 million people, there's very little done in terms of design history outside Spain. In terms of India, there are 650 million Hindustani speakers, and yet there is really very little written about design in India from the Second World War to the present day. Even in Eastern Europe, there are countries where there are very few speakers, and because there are so few speakers, many people can't read the language, and as a result, it doesn't paint a very full picture of the history of design. So my ambition really is to be inclusive, or much more inclusive, so that it's a global history. Hopefully, my research on national design policies will show policymakers that much of what they think is new is not, and that in the future they can be more innovative and thoughtful about the ways in which design is enacted for society.